What's up, people? Nature Girl 30 here, and this is another mini Q&A. For those that are looking for the live stream that I did on Raw, on the Raw review of October 12th, I actually did do one, but it was poor quality, had a lot of complaints, so I decided to delete it. So you don't really have access to it unless you downloaded it early. I guess, I don't know, but no, it's no longer there. So if you look for it, it's no longer there. Just letting you know. And just for this is something I kind of thought about, because I know a lot of people are sending me questions after I do these videos. They're wondering why their questions aren't answered, so I have decided to set a deadline. All questions, either Twitter or YouTube, need to be in by Sunday. 5 question maximum for those that want to get their questions answered on these Q&As. They have to be in by Sunday. So, and then that's it. Anything afterwards is going to be put on for the next Q&A. And I'm just going to try to keep them as organized as possible so nobody will have their questions left out. But let's get started with the first set of questions that I have via Twitter, and these come from Largest85. Your question for me is, did you see the bully episode of Girl Meets World? Yes, I did see it, and it was heartbreaking. I'm not going to lie, it really was. But I kind of wish that there was a face with a name, or like a face or a name of somebody actually bullying, her, an actual person. Because yeah, she gets all these messages sent to her phone, but who was the girl sending them? It would have been nice to actually know who the bully was, so the bully can be acknowledged, so it can be relatable to people who go through it. I know they wanted to make it a fourth wall kind of thing, which was an interesting concept, but it would have been nice if we actually had a bully. Seriously, I thought it was a bit of a cop-out when they didn't really have an individual playing a bully. But changes are happening, so hey, you roll with the punches. But it was an interesting episode nonetheless. What you think of that black kid who is Lucas' best friend? That black kid happens to be Zay. And honestly, I don't know why Zay is there. Zay is a very annoying character, and it kind of shows that Zay does not care for Lucas's new friends. He just wants his best friend back. You can tell. It is obvious. But besides Lucas and Farkle and Maya, it seems that Zay is the most sane one of the group. Like, he can kind of tell when BS is going on, and he can kind of tell when they're talking to a bunch of pillows. He's a lot smarter than Lucas, and he knows a little bit more about Lucas than everyone else. But Zay's character is not so much as, mean, rude, and just plain crude half the time. He actually, seriously, has a bit of a point in some of the things he says. I don't really like the character that much, because it's not really on screen that often, except for just being, a wisecracker, a jerk every once in a while. But either or, he does make sense. So, yeah, I don't got no beef with the guy. But I do have my own personal thoughts about this cheerleader episode that I actually did rant more about, and I actually did a video on it, and I'm going to put it up on my other channel, which is going to be, I'm actually going to leave that in the card for those who want to check out all the other stuff I had on my other channel. But anyway, moving on to your third question. Who do you think Riley looks like? A lot of people keep saying she's like AJ Lee, but I think she's a split image of Ben Savage. You wouldn't be surprised. I mean, everybody thinks that that's his kid, but that really isn't his kid. They look exactly alike. He looks just like Ben Savage, but they're not related in any means, like no way, shape, or form. But he actually does look like his child. So I say Ben Savage by far. Your next question for me is, what are your thoughts on James Storm debuting on NXT's taping? And will he be fed to the Cena monster once he comes comes up to the main roster? I'm gonna be honest with y'all. James Storm isn't going anywhere. He's gonna be on NXT just like Samoa Joe. Everybody that came from TNA is gonna stay on NXT. And honestly, in my opinion, NXT is a place to be. And I'm not even trying to make that rhyme, because NXT has practically one of the best pay-per-views that I've ever seen with respect, as well as Brooklyn. And honestly, They have really great matches every single night. They have great characters. It's a lot more aggression when it comes to wrestling. NXT is the place to be. I hope James Storm don't go up to the main roster because people are gonna think that he's too much like Stone Cold and they're gonna mock him. So I'll let him stay in NXT. Hopefully he become a whole new character. He won't have to scream all the time. And your fifth question for me is, why is Raw getting so crappy? Getting crappy ratings? I'll say this: wash, rinse, and freaking repeat. When it comes to some of these matches, we've seen them 1,000 times before, and they keep trying to fool us over and over again. You can do that with a 3-year-old. A 3-year-old can watch something over 1,000,000 times and it never gets old. But with adults, it gets old. With teens, it gets old. With preteens, it gets old. Lower than that, probably to the age of 7 to 9, it gets old. I mean, they gotta start doing something different and at least allow a little bit of creativity, because that's not what I'm seeing. The fact that you actually do have, for this previous Raw, for well, not previous Raw, but it was a Raw for October 12th. If you have a couple's proposal to be the most entertaining aspect of a match and have the match literally cut to turn to talk to these people, that shows that your show is getting boring. It really is. They need to start doing something new, or they're going to lose a lot more than just viewers. Well, they're not only losing viewers, they're losing money. So they need to start getting together. But anyway, guys, let's move on from there to my YouTube questions that I have this time. The first question comes from Dustin Nunn. I probably answered this, but I can't remember, so I'm going to answer it again. Have you played Smash Brothers? Have you played Super Smash Brothers? If so, who is your favorite character? Honestly, I have played Super Smash Bros. It has been a minute, though. They had somebody in all the time. I wasn't really good at it, so I don't really have a favorite character. But I will say, of course, every once in a while I do play as Peach or Zelda. And Mario isn't so bad, but usually the funnest one is always one of the Pokemon. And of course it would be Pikachu, because Pikachu shoots lightning. So it's one of those characters that I actually do play with occasionally. The next set of questions actually comes from Timmy's Wheelchair. Your favorite MK game? MK9. Of course. I have not played the latest one that came out because I do not have an Xbox One. And even though they came out with the 360, they keep postponing it because they don't want people to buy any more games for the 360. So either or, one day I'm going to probably trade out my 360 for an Xbox One. I don't know when, but I'm hoping it's sometime this year. Second question. Your favorite wrestling game of all time? Honestly, I don't play a lot of wrestling games. I actually do have WWE 2K13. And that's not a bad game. It has the Attitude Era, and I have fun actually playing that. So honestly, that's the game that I have. I have played WWF Attitude, and I've also played Raw vs. SmackDown 02. But honestly, by far my favorite one will always, well, I can't really say favorite, but of course it'll be WWF Attitude, and also 2K13. So I'll just go with those. Favorite RPG of all time? I don't necessarily play a lot of RPGs. I don't. I have played Mortal Kombat 8. Not Mortal Kombat 8. Final Fantasy 8. I have played Final Fantasy 8. I actually got it on my old classic PlayStation, and it was a pretty fun game. Beautiful game to play. I kind of enjoyed it. I loved the music. I really did. I wasn't that good with RPGs. My sister actually was good enough to beat it. But we did have to have a Game Shark in order to go all the way, because we just couldn't beat Ultimecia. It was so hard. We kind of traded off trying to beat Ultimecia, and we just couldn't do it. So we had to cheat. But yeah, that's the only RPG that I have played. A lot of people keep telling me to play Chrono Trigger, and I was thinking about playing Chrono Trigger, but I have not played it. I should have played it when I had my PlayStation, but unfortunately it broke. Well, my cousin broke it. So, no, I haven't played that either. Soul Calibur or Street Fighter? They're both good, but Street Fighter has a little bit more substance to it. Now they actually do have some decent storylines, especially with some anime endings that I actually do like. And I think that was for Super Street Fighter 4, I think. It was a while ago, but they actually had some really cool endings, and I enjoyed it. I really did. But yeah, it beat Soul Calibur by far. Soul Calibur 2 was the best of the brand. Other than that, when they started going up, it really wasn't all that fun. Moving on to the next set of questions that I have, and I just skipped for a second, comes from Justin Side. Thoughts on The Rock? Well, I have always been a fan of The Rock for years. Everything he's done with WWE was great, but now The Rock is just starting to get a little bit old to me. I mean, not the fact that he's going to always, like, his music will never get old. His classic one-liners, yeah, I mean, he may have to freshen it up a bit. But The Rock is now a TV star. He's now a movie star. That's a given. But the fact that he literally takes all these selfies and all this stuff on Twitter and on Instagram, it's ridiculousness. Like, moments of saving a dog, you have to selfie it. Or you have to take it on Instagram. Is it really necessary? But in my opinion, it isn't. But he's The Rock, and The Rock will always be loved for what he did back in the day. Thoughts on Beth Phoenix? Beth Phoenix was the mix between beauty and brawn, and beauty, brawn, and brains. And I enjoyed her character. I really did. But it is a shame that she could not beat China on her best day. But that does not mean that she cannot wrestle. She actually can. But I will say this. I really wish that she was able to achieve what China did. But unfortunately, China was the only one that could. But even when she left, she still had a huge legacy of being a really great heel. A very dominant diva. And a very feminine and dominant diva. You don't really see them anymore. You don't. Except for Tamina, but they're kind of messing her up right now. What do you think of Goldust? Goldust was a crazy androgynous character back in the day in the 90s. And I mean, he was enjoyable to watch, but it was a little creepy at times, especially every time you see him, he would be naked or with a thong on, with Marlena kind of covering him. But it was just, I mean, now Goldust is a little bit more serious, but you don't really see him much anymore. It's kind of behind the scenes. Now, I wouldn't be surprised he's going to be retiring soon, and it's kind of like pushing Cody up front. But yeah, I enjoyed his character back in the day. What if Miz won the Divas title? Oh, good grief. I hope not. That would really mess up the Miz. It would be horrible. Moving on to the next set of questions from Axel Leah. My name is Axel. Got it memorized? Okay. I think I actually do. Did I make the right call in betraying the Organization 13? Yeah. Kingdom Hearts reference. Dang, I gotta play that game. Everybody keeps telling me about Kingdom Hearts and how I should play it. If I actually did have a console to play it on, I would play it just to try it out. But I think it's probably on a Game Boy or Game Boy something. And I don't have one. So I have not played it yet. But if it does come out on a PlayStation 4 and somebody has one, I might play it. Who knows? Or they have the game, I might play it. But yeah, I guess you made that right call. What wrestler would you think would make a good member of the organization? No, I would say the Wyatts, but they're too dark. The only person I can think of that could blend in really well is Cesaro. He's the only one I can think that could actually make it look good. So I put Cesaro in there. Is your heart pure of light or darkness? Light. What wrestlers are more darkness than light inside their hearts? The Wyatt family. By far. Till next time, bye-bye. Well, thanks for those questions, man. And by all means, come back. And I guess, Dustin, since you sent me two, I'll go ahead and answer this one. Are you familiar with the YouTuber Bubba Dunk Funkin'? If so, who is your favorite Bubba Dunk Funkin' character? Your favorite character is Green Psycho 17. Bubba Dunk Funkin', of course. The guy is funny. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I love his intro. He is funny. He can't stand the PG era, and it's a given. Can't stand John Cena either. But either or, he's pretty bold. The fact that he actually did go up to WWE headquarters and ask for a job, and that was literally one of his videos. Kudos to you, man. Seriously. I like Bubba Dunk Funkin'. He is interesting. I haven't seen his videos in a while, though. I haven't really watched a lot of wrestling YouTube videos. But honestly, when I did see some of his videos when they came out the way they were, it was awesome. He was hilarious. Funny guy. Next set of questions comes from Final Limits. How did you lose 20 pounds? Tell me everything in full detail. Well, I don't want to make it that long, so I'm going to go ahead and try to make it as brief as possible. Well, pretty much with me gaining weight, it was getting really hard, especially with my job and also with my clothes not fitting. It was difficult. But for me, I just had to cut back on some of the things that I used to eat. I had to cut back on my sugar and how much sugar I would use. I would cut back on drinking sodas. I would have to cut back on eating a lot of processed foods as well as fats. I just cut back, not cut out. And I also joined the gym. I joined Planet Fitness, and I actually do work out twice a week, pretty much 30 to 35 minutes a day. I use the elliptical bike because it's the only bike that will not hurt my back. So I use that from 30 to 35 minutes a day, twice a week when I can. And I end up within, I guess probably, it's been about maybe 5 months, and I lost about 20 pounds. And hopefully I will continue to lose. Thank the Lord for that, because I honestly, it was hard to lose weight for the first 2 months. Felt like it was impossible. So I thank God that I was able to lose 20 pounds. It just feels great. How long did it take you to shed 20 pounds? Of course, it took me about 5 months to do so. What are your thoughts on that vegan chick YouTube name, That Beautiful Punk? She used to be CMY. She used to be CMY. I think CMY, her old channel is still up. She actually was pretty cool. I enjoyed listening to her videos. And she was like upfront about who she was and who she is, and she's not afraid to do a video that pretty much caters to who she is. So I respect her for that. I really do. I enjoy her. I don't listen to her that often, but when I actually did watch some of her videos, especially when she got a lot of haters, she was very upfront and literally honest about some of those haters. So I respect anybody that comes up with anyone that hates on them and like straight up like, look, this is me. If you don't like me, bye. You know, I respect somebody like that. I really do. Have you ever thought about going vegan? No. I like meat way too much. I'm sorry. I am a carnivore. I like my briskets. I like my steaks. I like my hamburgers, and that will not change. So, no, I will not be vegan. When was the last time you bought a game, either Xbox Live or a physical copy? The last game I actually downloaded was Plants vs. Zombies. That was the last one I've ever downloaded. I think I downloaded a DLC for, I can't remember what DLC it's for. It wasn't for BioShock. I got all of those. I think it was for Dishonored, but I don't think I've ever played it. But yeah, I think the recent one definitely was Plants vs. Zombies. So yeah, that's the game I actually did get recently. Next set of questions comes from Bro Pa. Have you heard that Carlito was turned down? It says he turned down WWE for a possible return. Can you blame him? No, I cannot. Honestly, Carlito had his run, but then he had his runs behind the scenes. And, of course, what can you do when your brother is trying to get over it as a completely different character from who he was? And, I mean, I don't know. All I know is that I'm kind of happy that Carlito isn't coming back because he wouldn't be the Caribbean cool guy he used to be. It'll probably turn him into something else. So I'm kind of happy he did turn him down. Do you think that WWE deserves to lose ratings due to their god-awful Raws these past couple of weeks? Honestly, yeah. I think, from what I'm hearing, and this is a rumor, that everything is already written out ahead of time. The writers actually do have the storylines done ahead of time, but it gets changed at the last minute before the show airs. Hence why you see some inconsistencies in storylines played out in the ring, as well as being played out, as well as being played out on screen. They actually have all these things prepared for early, but then all of a sudden, things get changed way too quickly within 5 minutes. Just like that. So that's probably the reason why there's so many inconsistencies. It's the reason why a lot of things don't make any sense. And there's a lot of reason why you don't understand this person's about to go heel, but then the next day, they end up becoming a face again, which makes no sense. If whoever's in charge, and we know who that is, can just take a step back and allow things to happen, whether it's good or bad, they'll be able to see and kind of measure out what they should do instead of being all panicky and scared and throwing things in these random stuff at the last minute, which makes zero sense. Hopefully, they'll come to their senses and allow things to take over and not be afraid. But who knows? We'll see as time goes on. When is TNA gonna die? And do you think that if a man was in charge of TNA, that it would be good, that it would be on good ground right now? I don't think it has anything to do with whether or not a man or a woman running it. It all depends on who is more qualified. Unfortunately, I'm not gonna lie, Dixie Carter does not know anything about media as well as getting the word out for the shows on the road. She does not know how to promote her own series. She does not know how to promote any of the pay-per-views. You spend thousands of dollars trying to send your people overseas to Japan for Bound for Glory when you're not going to have a really good payout. There's a lot of things that they have done wrong. And unfortunately, this leads on up to TNA losing Destination America in January of next year. It's a shame. It breaks my heart to see that TNA is going to go down the way they are, but go down like that. But unfortunately, they put it upon themselves. I hate to say it, but it's just bad promotion, bad everything. Do you think when ROH guys like Owens, Cesaro, and Neville goes to WWE that they are made the biggest mistakes, that they have made the biggest mistakes of their lives? No, I'm not going to say that. Because Kevin Owens, by far, has literally made so much of himself within a matter of weeks, other than people that come up from other circuits, that he has done so much in his career. He had a really amazing feud with John Cena, leading on up to him beating John Cena clean, which had the biggest pop I have ever heard in my entire life. He has made the NXT Championship more valuable than the actual U.S. title that he had. He has made, he has literally made a name for himself. Not to mention, he has made NXT a very popular brand. It was already a popular brand, but the fact that you actually had the NXT belt on you at first, and you literally had made your belt bigger than the belt that Cena had, there you go. You're doing your job right. As for Cesaro, it's a shame of what they're doing to him, but he did have a huge push before WrestleMania 30, but it's a shame that he faded out before then. And also you got Adrian Neville. And Adrian Neville will always be spectacular, but he needs to have a title on him right now. I will be fine to actually have Adrian Neville get the U.S. title, but Lord knows when that's going to be. And that's a shame. But I don't think these guys made a big mistake. I think they made a good call because they actually are, they're very, very talented wrestlers. I will say that. And the next set of questions comes from Little Fish. When did you start losing weight? Wow. I actually started, let me see. I started working out on my birthday of this year. So it's been, yeah, I had to count people. It actually has been 8 months, not 5. I actually thought it took me 5 months to lose 20 pounds. It actually took me 8 months to lose 20 pounds. So, yeah, I actually started losing weight at 8 months. My previous question, I said 5. It was 8, actually. But, yeah, I lost 20 pounds in 8 months. That's pretty good. I actually did. That makes me happy. What action figures did you have as a kid? I didn't really have any wrestling action figures, but I know I had... My cousin had Hulk Hogan. I actually played with his doll every once in a while. He had a Hulk Hogan little doll that he would always play with, or not doll, but like an action figure that he would always play with. And I would sometimes when he's like out the room, I would actually play with his Hulk Hogan action figure. I don't know what happened to that thing. What are your thoughts on Tyrone Magnus? He hates Cena. Good grief, that dude hates Cena with a freaking passion. I don't think I've ever seen anybody that hates Cena more than him, ever. But there are times he actually is pretty funny. I'm not going to deny that. He is pretty funny. But he freaking hates Cena. And I don't think I've seen anybody that hates Cena more than him. But moving on to my last set of questions from Nintendo Fanboy 1988. Have you heard that Bill DeMont's daughter died in a car accident? No, I haven't. And that's heartbreaking. That really is. My thoughts and prayers go out to his daughter. Well, my thoughts and prayers go out to his family as well as Bill DeMott. Because even though whatever he did in WWE, that's a shame. It really, really is sad. And the last question is Amanda Bynes screwed for life? No, I don't think she is. Hopefully, Amanda Bynes is going to learn her lesson from everything that she's done, and knowing that what she's been doing hasn't been getting her far. Maybe she'll learn her lesson, and maybe it'll stop. But only time will tell. But guys, thank you so much for sending me questions. If you have more questions that you would like to send me, by all means, send it to me via YouTube or on Twitter at RKH30, hashtag NatureGirlQ&A. It's NatureGirl30 signing off. Peace out, guys. Later.